Chaos shamanism sounds like the opposite of tradition. In fact, it's the most traditional of all. Because what is tradition? It's a means of fostering, of nourishing, of creating a spirit within the human being in which we're aligned with ourselves, aligned with our own nature, which is the nature of the world. There's no split between us and the world outside. It's becoming aligned with that. That's the purpose of any practice, any spiritual practice anywhere. And when I use the term chaos shamanism, I'm going straight to that alignment. And when I talked about transmission before, that's what transmission is. Transmission is, in a sense, a sort of osmosis, yeah, of that deeper alignment from one being to another. One person's open and they receive it. Yeah. One tree sees the other trees flowers itself, because the perfume from the flowers of the first tree move the buds on in the second tree. How about that? I think that's not a bad image, is it? That came to me as I talked. So it's the most traditional, paradoxically, because what you're doing. There's a book called The Philosopher's Secret Fire by Patrick Harper, which I highly recommend. It's got second parts of the title. I've forgotten it now, but he talks about almost like this secret tradition or the perennial tradition. People talk about the perennial tradition sometimes, which is about this passing down of this fire from generation to generation. You see it in the shamanic families out in Mongolia or wherever they are, or in Buryat or wherever, yeah, where there's spirits belonging to certain families. And it's like that fire is passed down, it's shared. It's kind of transpersonal as well as personal, to use our terminology. That is the real transmission. That is what really keeps a tradition alive. A tradition will die with just its forms. So this is what we have in the modern West. We have no traditions. We have no forms. We can borrow forms, yeah, like chaos magic borrows forms to recreate their ceremonies. We can borrow forms to recreate that inner alignment, yeah, to help promote it. And we can pick and choose, but not in a superficial way. Yeah, we choose according to where we're genuinely called. We sit with it. We see where we need to go, but it takes time. It's not just of the moment. It's not just, oh, today I feel like this and tomorrow I feel like the other. It's deeper than that. These enduring interests. I have an enduring interest and draw towards the Native American medicine world. And that speaks to me. So within this, you can be firmly drawn towards certain practices. I'm drawn towards the Far Eastern shamanism as well. I don't know anything about it, but when I see them dancing, it's like, because they dance their journeys. It's like, that's how I work. It's the same kind of inner thing there. So that's a bit about transmission and the real tradition. What we're doing with chaos shamanism is we're re-encountering the real tradition, and we have the freedom to do so because we're not beholden to all these different ways, valuable as they are, great as it is when a whole community finds its meaning within those forms. We're somewhere else, and the great opportunity is to seize hold of the essence. We can keep seizing hold of the essence because there's no one stopping us. Well, there's people who attempt to, and there always will be. Yeah? There's people say you're not allowed to do this practice, you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to do the other without this whole list of permissions, or without, or it's cultural appropriation if you even go near it. So there's always be these voices. Yeah, who are you? Who are you to do this? Yeah, and you just have to have the chutzpah to do it, to get on with it, to grab these things, the effrontery the cheek, the impudence, the hubris, all of those things. It's like, yeah, I'm running a sweat lodge because it moved me. I went to one and it moved me. I've only run one, but there's none where I am. The technicalities of how to do it are simple. The inner spirit, well, I can spend the next 20 years developing that by running it, and I will read what I can, I will talk to who I can. But if I don't set up this sweat lodge, there isn't going to be any. People won't benefit from it, so I'm going to run with it. The Dalai Lama, he hands out all these initiations. He'll hold initiation to a whole crowd of people into these kind of inner energies, and they have all sorts of different ones in the Tibetan tradition. All these different bodhisattvas, all these different forms that they meditate on. I mean, I heard it said once you could look at them as frozen spirit guides, because that's what happens. A tradition will get hold of a spirit guide. Oh, that's what it looks like. That's exactly how it looks like. And okay, that works up to a point, but they also need to be able to move. They need to be able to be alive. Anyway, I'm sure he does it in a live way, but he'll hand out thousands of initiations in one go, something like that. And that goes right against the tradition where someone is supposed to be properly prepared for years before they receive this inner transmission. And that's correct too. But he takes the viewpoint, look, Tibet's reeling from these body blows. Our tradition is reeling from these body blows. We need to ensure its survival. If I hand out 10,000 initiations, some of them will take. There'll be some people there who really run with it. They really do the practice. They come to embody that transcendent being. Not too wild about the word transcendent because that gears us towards the light. We're shamanism, we're bottom up, we're immanent rather than transcendent. That's my issue with those figures. They're always kind of pulling you away a bit, but there's something profound and beautiful, and there's kind of austere beauty in them, these Tibetan figures. But they can lack that ordinary, soulful humanity, which is what shamanism's about. Any indigenous tradition's about. I'm sure the Bon tradition in Tibet is like that. And what happens is that people get pulled away from that ordinary humanity. And I think there's a political agenda when that happens, because you're running a religion. You need to keep things under control. And so you cut people off from themselves. You stop them trusting themselves. You say where it's at is up in this wonderful sphere over here, this bodhisattva or this god or this angel inhabits. Come towards the light, you will be saved. Don't be like ordinary, ignorant humanity. And there is something in that. There is something in that light, but in moving towards that light, you lose something. And you maybe don't trust yourself enough to go no. Not many people do trust themselves enough to go no in the face of a sort of overarching tradition with all these elders and thousands of books and founders and teachers and rituals and all of that. But we need to be able to go no. My soul can't go there. And that is something that is really good about our modern situation, because we can more easily do that. There's no tradition saying to us, you must be part of this or you have fallen away. Well, they might say that, but we're in a better position not to believe it, because we can choose from all these different things and trust what feels really right to us. Something in us resonates. There needs to be a sense that this is fundamentally right, even though there may be things that, aren't entirely for you. There needs to be a fundamental sense that this is right for me. This speaks to my soul. And maybe I'll leave it there, because that's where we always need to keep coming back to. We come back to the soul and what's right for us, what feels